Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about how I believe the zodiac sign Pisces can be manipulated. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as this series goes on how I believe the zodiac signs can be manipulated. Well, this isn't so much as to instruct people on ways that they may be able to manipulate the various zodiac signs, but it's really about the zodiac signs in question in the videos. Basically, for them to look for signs that somebody may be trying to manipulate them or attempt to manipulate them. That's basically what this is about, so they could be cognizant of these things and understand, have a general idea and conception as to when somebody may be trying to do that, to manipulate them. So anyway, people, first thing up. Well, sadly, I think as far as Pisces goes, they could actually be, I'd say, of the 12 zodiac signs, the easiest ones to manipulate on average. I mean, they're a very likely, I see them as the most gullible and impressionable sign of the zodiac. They are the ones, I mean, again, as you know, Pisces is not, is one of the rulers is Neptune, and Neptune is about deception and duplicity. They could be masters at deceiving others, but they are also deceived on that as well, where it goes both ways with Pisces. Now as a child, Pisces may be manipulated by a parent with the threat, perhaps, of taking Pisces out of their fantasy realm. It could be Pisces may often be enamored with fantasy games like Dungeons and Dragons, or it could even be hypothetical things like hypothetical sports matchups, fantasy matchups, sports matchups, taking teams from different years and playing them against each other. It could be where, you look at this too. Pisces can be strongly about isolation, solitude, and seclusion. And the thing about Pisces is, like a lot of parents may say, well, if you don't do such and such, I'm going to confine you to your room. Well, the thing about Pisces is it could be the opposite with a lot of them, because Pisces could be so enamored with with really their isolation, their solitude, and their seclusion, again, that it's almost like a parent may have to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to make you go outside more if you don't do such and such. So it's kind of hard to punish. It's really hard, for a parent to try to manipulate Pisces into doing something with the threat of confining them to their room, because that could actually be doing them, more of a favor and something that they actually may enjoy. So anyway, because Pisces often will go into their own realm, their own world, to escape the harsh realities of the outside world. A thing a parent could do as well, a parent may notice that Pisces likes likes things connected with water, such as swimming, or it could be fishing, or just going out into the pool just to take a dip, just to be in there. And what a parent may do is say, you Pisces, you may I'm going to deprive you of privileges for the pool, or not. You're not going to be able to go swimming if you don't do such and such, or even go fishing. Pisces too, this is something as well, maybe even taking the game Go Fish away from them, but I'm joking, of course. Now, another thing too, Pisces can also be infatuated with movies, because it's a sign connected with filmography, and it could go both ways. A parent could say to Pisces child, well, if you do such and such and clean your room and get it immaculate, I'll take you to the movies. Or it could be deprivation of that. It probably could go the other way. A parent could say, well, if you don't do such and such, I won't take you to the movies. Pisces can often like movies more than the other signs on average, because, again, it is a sign connected with filmography. Now, the thing about Pisces too is that it's also, Pisces is a sign connected with addiction. I'm not talking just about recreational drugs and alcohol. Addiction can be so many wide divergence of things. It could be caffeine, it could be candies, cookies, sweets. And the parent could say to the Pisces child, well, if you don't do such and such, I'm going to take I'm going to take soda with caffeine away from you. for X amount of time. You're not going to have any sweets. If it's something that the parent is observant to and takes notice that Pisces is enamored with and very strongly addicted to, or everything but addicted to, that is the thing they may take away from Pisces, knowing that that could be their weak spot. Now, and also, going back to alcohol and drugs on Pisces, Pisces is the sign, though, that can have the greatest propensity toward alcohol and drugs. Now, if under the influence, they may be more apt to cater to to the wishes of others, and they'd be able to do this. And really, it's easier to do this with Pisces more so than the other zodiac signs on average. Pisces, again. And I mean, Pisces unfortunately, at times may be lured by others to places that have drugs and alcohol, and thinking that, well, Pisces is really, I mean, given the fact they could be very impressionable, and they often they will often instinctively replicate or mimic the behavior of others, unfortunately, more so than the other signs on average, and that could include drugs and alcohol. That it could be, in some cases, that Pisces may already be might be a drinker or a drug user, but if they're not, sadly, they could be influenced by their friends and their contemporaries, what have you, and going to these places. And sadly, Pisces could get hooked on those things with greater propensity toward that, more so than the other zodiac signs on average. And the thing about it too is that another thing about the zodiac sign Pisces, they could often be very compassionate, altruistic, and self-sacrificing. Now, sadly, others may try to exploit this and capitalize on that. Pisces often is drawn, toward others that are in less fortunate situations. Those are less fortunate than others, such as the oppressed, the homeless, the impoverished, and the hungry. And what happens is, sadly, others, again, they could try to exploit this out of Pisces and capitalize on this. It could be one of those things where I'm sure you've heard the expression, people like something about giving someone an inch, they take a mile. Well, this could be something where these people that are in less fortunate situations may constantly, figuratively bleed Pisces to do this and to do that. And Pisces may have a hard time saying no to these people. Now, the thing about Pisces as well, and where that manipulation comes in, is that these people may say, well, I just need you to do such and such for me. Then later on, these same people that said, oh, I only needed you to do this, then they might contact them shortly after. It could be a week later or a day or two later or whatever. I need you to do this for me as well. And Pisces, given that they're so self-sacrificing in nature, again, can have a very tremendous, difficult time in saying no to this. Now, another thing, and this is something where, and also Pisces could really often put up with negative or adverse behavior from others for an indefinite period, unfortunately. Now, if Pisces is in an abusive situation, say with a significant other, that person may constantly, tell Pisces something like, oh, I'll seek anger management as an example, or even if it's verbal, I'll try to do something else to modify my behavior. And then gullible Pisces, sadly, may just actually listen to it and believe it, or at least want to believe it. And the thing about it is, that's how that significant other can really manipulate Pisces into staying into that detrimental relationship more so than he or she really needs to. And Pisces, sadly, of all the zodiac signs, and I'm just saying on average, that there are the weakest, I believe, as far as the will. Somebody, said to me one time, there was some comment I had on the weakest zodiac sign video. I hadn't said, well, I don't remember his or her exact comment, but it was something to the effect, well, it's very subjective what's weak. Okay, well, what I mean when I talk about weakness, I'm talking about the weakness in character and the will of the person. That's basically what I'm referring to as far as that goes. But anyway, The thing too is that Pisces, again, they could be very passive and submissive, and they often don't have really a lot of defense in those situations. And the thing about it is Pisces will often overlook transgressions of others and at least act oblivious to those flaws. They could be very idealistic to the point of being unrealistic. Hold on a minute, people. Sorry about that. I'm back in. Anyway. Now, another way in an employment situation, okay, where Pisces might be swayed and manipulated, could be, well, for one thing, it could be simply the threat of increasing the workload on Pisces if Pisces don't do such and such, or it could just simply be somebody, an authority figure or a superior, what have you, increasing the workload on Pisces as a ploy or scheme to get Pisces to leave. See, Pisces is not exactly known for near inexorable or indefatigable energy like Leo maybe, or even Aries. Aries' sign, of course, could be very energetic, and they often have an abundance of energy. But Pisces, not so much. Pisces often, is very, very low on vitality. I would say perhaps of all the zodiac signs, as far as the stamina, energy level, and vitality, I would say they're the lowest of that, and Cancer is right along with them, I think. But anyway, the zodiac sign Cancer, of course. But anyway, that could be a scheme or some ploy by the employer to get Pisces to leave. And don't get me wrong, Pisces is capable of working a 40-hour week, just like the rest of us. But the thing about it is they don't want to succumb to overexertion or exhaustion because, again, they are not really, their energy level generally is not very high. And another thing, too, harshness toward Pisces. General harshness toward Pisces at a place of employment could get Pisces to leave. This could be true with other zodiac signs as well, but more so perhaps with Pisces because they can often be very fragile on emotional level. They are ones where if someone's being belligerent toward Pisces, that could really get to Pisces. Pisces really is very environmental, and they want to be often in a work situation where they do feel comfortable. And they're not really so much about confrontation, given they are very passive often. Now, and they don't have the robust constitution. Again, going back to their vitality and stamina could be rather low. Now, it's something too, and also somebody's like this friend with Pisces, or some friends may say, well, if someone is trying to ask Pisces to do something group related, say, or something that would require a lot of endurance, such as hiking or mountain climbing, or going on, say, some kind of exploration that would really require, again, a lot of energy, a lot of endurance, Pisces may be apt to opt out of that. And then that's kind of a way where somebody can get Pisces to not go and do something by suggesting something that maybe something like that Pisces would not really be much interested in. Then the friends could say, well, gee, we did invite the person, she didn't want to do it, and that gives them an easy way out, and without actually having to come directly to Pisces and say, well, we just don't want you doing such and such. So another thing too is that what gets to Pisces, how Pisces can be duped in a lot of instances, it's the fact that others may capitalize on the fact that they are generally not very good in terms of being punctilious with details, unlike Virgo, who of course is like the antithesis of that in terms of detail-oriented things. Now, this could be something where, Pisces may often not see the fine print in contracts or documents, again, because they're often not punctilious with details. Pisces may be easily. Also, another thing is that generally, Pisces, deception is their namesake, but they often succumb to strong deception. They could be easily duped in connection with things associated with deception, an illusion. It could things that are falsified, such as phony background reports, insurance fraud, fallacious proof of income. Say Pisces is in some management, working as an apartment manager or in some kind of apartment management business, and they're trying to go through the IDs of others, or somebody brings them this some kind of work history report. I mean, somebody can fabricate that and and Pisces has a better chance of looking at that and actually taking the word on it rather than actually verifying it in the way perhaps it should be verified. This could be also too. It's important to look at the house cusp Scorpio falls on in a solar or natal chart, as this could indicate the area or sector in life one could be most susceptible and vulnerable to manipulation. Now, Scorpio often falls on the 9th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Pisces. Now, Pisces can be easily manipulated, I believe, by people in religious congregations. Of course, that's associated with the 9th house. They want so much to be, they're often strongly about self-sacrifice. They could be duped by people that are very deceptive in the congregation. It could be someone running a scheme. Say a prominent person in the church, for example, might get this calling. They say they're getting a calling from God for Pisces to give $200 to the church. And Pisces may go for it hook, line, and sinker. Of course, no pun intended. Yeah, right, of course there was. Pisces may be in such a hurry to join a religious group because they often are many Pisces can be very spiritual. Others may exploit this. They often are not about researching things extensively before doing something in connection with them, such as researching a religious group or congregation. And the 9th house is also connected with grandchildren. These people may easily do Pisces as well because Pisces being really can be somewhat naive, and they may think, well, grandchildren would never try to manipulate me. This is something. What can these people do to me? Well, the thing too is that grandchildren may also take advantage and capitalize on Pisces' compassionate nature and self-sacrificing nature. It could be through monetary gifts or other favors. Grandchildren of Pisces may often ask Pisces to do one thing and then shortly after ask for another thing, and it just continues and continues. And another thing too is that when I look at when looking at where Pisces falls on in a solar or natal chart can be important, as well as this could be the area where one may be most susceptible and vulnerable to deception and duplicity, which of course could be tied into manipulation. Well, with Pisces, of course, the zodiac sign Pisces is going to fall on the 1st house cusp in a solar natal chart. The way this manifests with Pisces, I believe, is that they could be a lot about self-deception. Pisces can think, so many people are good and that they're, and really, they often, again, going back to the self-deception, they may often try to do things or set something for themselves that are completely unattainable. And another way this may manifest is the fact that the 1st house is often about, not often, it is about new beginnings. Again, the things that they want to start, the beginnings they want to do, they want to embark on. They may have very unrealistic aspirations and things that can be attained. It's also about, the 1st house is also about your early childhood. It can be connected, I think, with people that were prominent in your early childhood. Pisces may think that the people that they knew that were prominent in their early childhood, especially maybe early childhood friends, would never do anything to deceive them or try to manipulate them. That there's nothing why would they be duplicitous? Why would they do something like that? But Pisces can succumb to that deception from those people, and a lot of it's about self-deception because they feel that no one would act like that toward them. They are really they are a thing. Another way that Pisces, going back to just in general, is that they Pisces again. I mean, what could actually what can lure Pisces in, so to speak, and where they can be duped and manipulated. It could be something falling for fallacious charitable organizations. They're often about being very charitable, again, very self-sacrificing. They're very benevolent often, and it could be something where somebody, and also they want to be, I mean, them with the zodiac sign Cancer I think are the biggest rescuers of the zodiac group. So they could be lured in by somebody saying, "Oh, I'm afraid somebody's going to drown. I need you to watch him by the pool," just to get Pisces to do something that person didn't feel like doing. Or this person's about to kill his or herself. Person may distort something where they feel that they could get Pisces lured in if it's going to be something where that person may potentially die or strongly hurt themselves if Pisces is not around, and that's what can get Pisces to go again, fall for it hook, line, and sinker. And it's easier to do it with Pisces anyway, because I do believe of all the zodiac signs, unfortunately, they are the most gullible of them. And another thing too, what lures Pisces in a lot of situations is the fact that Pisces, what you could do to Pisces, what someone may do to Pisces, unfortunately, Pisces needs to be cognizant of this, is that somebody can say to Pisces, "Well, you do this for me. You could inspire on others on a larger scale globally. You help me out." And this could be a very strong inspiration to others. They might say, "Oh, I'll put this on my Facebook wall. I'll put it on public. I'll make sure I'll get this out to as many people as possible. I'll make a YouTube video about this. I'll let this be. This will inspire so many people if you just help me out." And whether it's from giving, it could be something of a monetary nature. It could be some other way of helping out, doing some kind of charitable work. There might be physical work involved or what have you. Those are ways that Pisces can be lured in. And again, I want to go back. I think it's an interesting thing as far as self-deception goes. There was an interesting thing that happened. It was sports related. Hold on a minute, people, again. Sorry about that. I'm back again. Now, some of you sports fans that may see this may know who I'm talking about. Person by the name of Pat Riley. He's with the Miami Heat now. I don't know his exact title, if he's some president there, but he was a former NBA coach, and he was the coach of the New York Knicks for some time in the 1990s. And right before the series, it was the 1992 NBA Eastern Conference semifinals, which pit the New York Knicks against the Chicago Bulls, and he was the coach of the Knicks at the time. Again, I don't remember his exact quote, but he said something like, "You know what? Let's beat them now." Meaning, we could conquer and beat the Chicago Bulls right now. The Chicago Bulls, everything, seemingly invincible at the time. Most view them as somebody that you couldn't beat them in a team that couldn't be beaten in the series. Now, Pat Riley likely has his sun in Pisces, depending on time of birth. I don't know his time of birth, so I don't know that 100%. He's on the cusp of Pisces and Aries. But anyway, the thing about it is it sounded very unrealistic when I heard this at the time, and I'm a New York Knicks fan. Well, the thing about Pisces is that, they are, when I talk going back to self-deception, now I don't know if he really believed they could beat the Bulls or not, but Pisces, of course, could be very idealistic to the point of being unrealistic. And I think, they ultimately they lost that series to the Chicago Bulls in 7 games. They got annihilated in Game 7. But the thing about that is, um, that going back to the self-deception, I think Pat Riley might have set something a little bit too high and unrealistic at that time, and he might have been somewhat devastated by the time that series ended. He might have really felt that they could win that series, and they didn't do so. Now, at the same time, I understand he may have just said that just to try to motivate the Knicks, and also to maybe get any little psychological edge against the Bulls as possible. But the point being is that sometimes Pisces will, they could really, I think, sometimes deceive themselves into thinking, well, I could attain this. And sometimes they may be able to with their idealism, but a lot of times they will fall short as well. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for how I believe the zodiac sign Pisces can be manipulated. And stay tuned next time. My next video, I'm going to be talking about the 2018 to 2020 North Node in the zodiac sign Cancer transit. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Till next time, people, stay well.